Welcome to the MMA Fan Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Stu and Blake.
Hello and welcome to the MMA Fan Podcast, and we've got a very, very special guest for you today. We've got the featherweight champion of the world, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing very well, man. Doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. So this came about in a bit of an odd way, really, because me and Stu got off our last chat going, we got to try and get some guests on. We need some guests. Who should we have? What are we going to do? And then out of nowhere, I got a message from you on Instagram because you'd seen a really handsome, attractive man on your telly in Australia, hadn't you? That was dressed like a schoolboy, and you asked me if we need some more in-betweeners. And so I was like, oh well, if you come on the podcast, I'll see what I can do. So here we all are.
There we are, man. That's it. I just did a whole in-betweeners sort of. Because at night time, before I go to bed, I put the kids to bed. I'll watch a couple of movies, or even during the day, sometimes I'll, a bit of rest right in between sessions. So I'll watch a bit of TV just to chill, just that downtime. And I just did every season of In-Betweeners, and I just watched the last two movies as well. So, as I've told you last time, I'm a big fan of you guys in In-Betweeners. So, it was good. So that's why I thought I had to reach out. I'm like, come on, man, we need to do something. What do we got to do? Who do I need to talk to? I'll talk to somebody, make it happen.
Well, I'll have to let the writers, Ian and Damon, who wrote the show. I'll message them and say, pound for pound, best fighter in the world to a lot of people. He wants some more in between us, so you better get it done. I'll have a word with him for you.
It's so weird.
Good lad.
I literally walked down to record with Blake yesterday, and as I walked through my kitchen, my girls, like my daughters, are like in their sort of late teens now, and they were watching the In-Betweeners. And as I literally walked past my daughters cracking up, I turned around and looked at the telly, and there was Simon's bollock hanging out the side of his pants on that fashion show. I was like, mate, my kids don't need to be seeing that.
Yeah, look, I'm definitely watching. I've got a 5 and 7 year old, so I'm watching them by myself, but with the missus, definitely not with the kids. Not yet. Yeah. I'll let them. Grow up a little bit, and then maybe they can watch a bit of In-Betweeners.
Yeah, no, it's just Bluey for now, right? A bit of Bluey. Is that
Bluey?
Yeah, that's big in my house.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I got told that. It goes around. It's good, mate. They got good messages in Bluey. You know what I mean? It's pretty good. You get some kid shows that are just. You're like watching, you're like, man, how's this even good for kids? Like just the rubbish that's on it. But I think Bluey's pretty good. I don't mind it.
Yeah. No, I love Bluey as well, actually. It's one of the ones I can actually sit and watch with my kids, as you say, and go, I'm actually entertained by this. It's funny. But look, as much as we would love to talk about TV shows all day, we're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about MMA. And I suppose where I'd love to start is just by going, obviously, the last fight with Makachev, even though it was technically in the judge's eyes, it was a loss, I feel like your stock has risen. I feel like everyone was in the lead up to that fight was going, look, he's going to be too big. Makachev is this beast. He's Khabib's boy. Is all this kind of stuff. And because you gave him such an unbelievable fight that some people even believe you won, I feel like your stock's gone up. Do you feel that from the fans? Like, have you seen fans like on your side with all this? Have you seen growing in like your social media, all that stuff? How have you feel the response has been since the Makachev fight?
Yeah, man, exactly what you said. The stocks definitely rose from that fight. I'm always going to be hard on myself because I'm a winner, and that's just I'm very competitive and things like that. And I wanted that champ. Obviously it was a close fight. We thought we did enough, but. Yeah, you're right. It does make the loss a bit easier when everyone's pretty much congratulating me, which is weird. It's a weird feeling when someone congratulates. I'm like, I want to just say, hey, I lost. What are you talking about? But, it just shows that, when we talk about that underdog story, a lot of people literally believed I didn't stand a chance. And these are probably even people that support me, that believe in me, that still thought, I don't know about this one. I honestly believe that. I think there's people that sort of close to me that was still like, you could see how surprised they were that I did. And so it's funny how much of an underdog I was. I had people that were reasonably close to me even thought like, oh, I don't know, this is a big ask. You know, not only is he moving up a division, he's moving up a division to a guy that's massive for the division, a guy that is out grapples and just manhandles everyone in that division. Then all of a sudden, this small guy's going to come, step up, and then try and take him. It's just, there's no way. And that's just how everyone was looking at it. And then, so it was funny. That's why I get a lot of people congratulating me. Obviously, a lot of people going, "Oh, you won. That was bullshit," you know, and carrying on that. But you know, it's what do you got to do? But I mean, it did. It's the beautiful thing about me and this whole situation. How I've always been is, you know, you got to move on, right? But I always, you know, I really do see a positive in everything. Obviously, there was a lot of positives because of the fact that, like you said, the stocks rose. You know, a lot of people were talking about it. You know, I end up staying at pound for pound at that stage. So it wasn't too bad. It wasn't, but not just that. This is just going to add to the story. As in, I'm going to get that rematch. I hope he wins so I can get that rematch, go out there and then take him out, and then you get what I mean. It just makes it even bigger. Whether there'll be a trilogy or whatever, but I mean, I just think it's just going to make for a bigger rematch, a bigger fight. Because you know, obviously, it was a fun fight for everyone to watch, very competitive, and just the whole storyline behind the whole thing is just going to make it up for a bigger rematch. So again, I look at the positives, and I think it's all going to work out in the end anyway.
When are you sort of looking at that fight, Volk? Is it obviously you've got Yair next, and you know, once that fight's done, is that when you're looking to sort of go back up?
Yeah. So I was straight after that fight. You know, the guys even, the matchmakers and you know, Hunter and Mick Maynard and a few of the guys, they come in straight away while I was getting stitched up, and they're just like, you know, obviously like, man, how great was that, man? Like even saying, you know, your stocks arose, you know, talking about even mentioning rematch. You know, we'll see if we can do that. We'll see what's going to happen. And then after, like the week after, they were asking me, what do I want to do? And that was an option because do you want to wait for a rematch and you know just again giving me these options. It was up to me, and I'm like, I don't want to wait because I knew that he wouldn't be fighting till later in the year, and obviously I've been very vocal about being active, so I didn't want to wait around. So I'm just like, no, you know, I ain't waiting around. Let me just do this, do this featherweight fight with Yair Rodriguez. Obviously, him getting that interim title, and you've seen that just got announced officially. So literally
Yes.
a few hours ago. So
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
you guys are first in on me here. So there you go. First time I could actually properly talk about it. But that's locked in. So I wanted to do that, and then you know, I'll fight Islam as soon as I can after that because I want to be active. You know, I wasn't lying when I said I wanted to keep two divisions busy, and I want these two divisions to keep me busy because that's what I want. I want to keep busy. You know, I'm in my prime right now. I ain't going to be in my prime forever. So let me make as much money as I can while I'm in my prime.
Absolutely. And look, we will get on to Yair. We're not being disrespectful to him. We know you've got that coming up in July at UFC 290. As you say, it's just been announced, main event, and it's a stacked card as well. It's a brilliant card. But in terms of the Makachev fight, because everyone, again, was very enthralled by that. As you say, the story is really there for that rematch. What would be different in preparation, do you think, for the Islam fight, having already spent 25 minutes with him in the cage?
Yeah, it's funny. I literally probably could have walked out of that cage or just stayed in that cage and then do another 5 rounds and know exactly what I needed to do. You know,
Yeah.
I adjust pretty quickly. Obviously, their team's going to try and make adjustments, but at the same time, you know, he's got more of a style that he's always going to stick to. He obviously showed more of his striking, but you know, I don't think he has a style where he could change a lot. You know, I don't think he's going to be that aggressive coming forward to me or anything like that. I think he's still going to be that counter fighter that he was. I'm the type of guy I can change whatever. I can do more grappling. I can do more wrestling. I can put more pressure. I could stay in the pocket. I could stay at a longer range. I can switch stances. I can fight southpaw the whole fight if I want. Like I got a lot of options that I can do. I am very versatile. I think that's the right word for in that sense. So I can definitely make a lot of changes. But straight after that fight, I sort of knew what I had to do. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're going to always have that respect for Islam's wrestling. Even though I knew I was prepared and I knew it was going to be hard for him to hold me down, you still need to respect it. You know, I was expecting to, he'll get a takedown, but I'll get back up I knew that his level bar would go down, and but I think I just gave it maybe a little too much respect. Where he fought a style that again, he stayed a bit back. He was obviously fighting at a longer range and just wanted me to come aggressively and catch me coming in or shoot as I'm coming in, which is a very good style to have, especially with someone like myself who's I want to be exciting as well. I could sit on the outside and play that game, and not much will happen, and then you wouldn't see the fight that we had. It would have been a total different fight. But
Did he
I wanted
surprise
to.
you much? Because did he surprise you
me.
much? Because you acknowledge him a lot, and I almost feel, again, as a big Volkanovski fan, there was moments where he was hitting you and you were nodding to him as if to say, "Yep, well done." And I'm like, "Don't do that, Volk. What if the judges didn't see it? You're alerting the judges to what was going on."
Yeah. It's funny. You're right. So many people talk to me about that, and for me, it's weird because I like while I'm fighting. I'm usually I'm pretty composed in there. Obviously I've got the fight IQ. So when people like will land one, I'm like, oh, yeah, nice. So it was weird because I was acknowledging as in like, oh, he snuck it in, but it wasn't. Obviously, it's not like rocking me or anything like that. But it was weird because that was my response to sometimes where he touched me. You're right. Maybe they wouldn't have thought it would have landed because it wasn't like they were massive shots. It
Yeah.
was just his distance. Maybe I thought he was out, but he actually got me, or his timing. Ah, yeah, nice, touche. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of
Yeah.
how it was about it. Which for me, you could see how composed I was throughout the whole fight.
Yeah.
So a lot of people could look at that. Oh, he's acknowledging it. And it was weird the way people looked at it. They were like, oh, he's acknowledging it. Oh, yeah. And they made that score bigger because of it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, I feel like me acknowledging it, being like, oh, yeah, sweet, whatever, like laughing it off. Here I am smiling, laughing, not rattled one bit, like not hitting my confidence one bit. You can see me keeping everything together, having a laugh and composure in there. Where I felt like every time I would land or fire at him, I would see him be a bit more frantic about it and like sort of like, turn and really, really try and get himself out of the way, and which lose composure, right? Lose composure,
Yeah.
freak out a little bit, which is fine. I'm not expecting everyone to just be as composed as I am. It's just going to be the
Yeah.
ice man and like nothing's going to phase him. I'm not expecting that, but I just feel like that should score so much more. When I'm sitting there and making people panic and you're seeing them freak out and they're, things like that, I felt like that would be more of a significance than me just like, something just touched me. I'm like, yeah, nice. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Now I know that. You probably won't see me acknowledge it as much because
Yeah.
I really do think that could have played a factor. And a lot of people are mentioning it. So it's something that, maybe I just think a little bit different to everyone else. But yeah, so it was a trigger. But yeah, he definitely surprised me in his striking. I knew that he would have good timing. I knew he would have good distance. I knew he'd be patient. But I guess I just didn't think he would be that precise maybe with his counters.
Yeah.
I thought I might be able to get in that little bit quicker because even though I had to force a lot more, as I said, I had to force more because without giving too much away, obviously I was forcing more so to make it a fight and to obviously wear him out as well. These big strong guys, they're all strong. Everyone's strong, everyone's tough, everyone's fast early. Till I zap the life out of them, and they all of a sudden, you just see their level bar go down. So that's always going to be the case with me. So I had to make it a fight, and I wanted. Obviously, it was Perth, Australia. Back home, I haven't been there for a while. I was like, let's give the crowds what they want, and plus, I thought that would be obviously a better way, which you've seen it obviously work in the end. He obviously started tiring and me landing that big shot, getting on top and finishing really strong. But yeah, what do you do? It's a close fight, fun fight. People are still talking about it, so it's all good.
Well, the fight that's next for you is obviously Yair, and I think when it got announced that Yair was going to fight Emmett for the interim, I think as Brits we wanted to see our boy Arnold Allen in the mix for that. We hoped we would have seen Arnold in that, but Yair run away with it. Looked absolutely incredible, and obviously he's got quite an unorthodox fight style, Volk. So just interested to know, how do you prep for someone like Yair?
Yeah, I mean, like you need to be on. You need to be defensively aware. You need to again. He's very unpredictable. You can't just sit there and let him do his thing because he's probably one of the most dangerous fighters. He'd be up there with some of the most dangerous fighters even in the UFC. So you got to respect that. But at the same time, my style is about making people fight my fight, and I'm usually pretty defensively aware. So you just got to be clever with it. You know what I mean? It's you got to approach each fight differently, especially with a fight like this. So it's exciting. That excites me again. Like people look for easy challenges, um, just so they can get more wins. For me, yeah, obviously you want rubies, you want them defenses. That obviously just it's money and them stocks rise. But I want the bigger fights. I want the dangerous fights that excite you as well. I want to be excited in the gym. I want to be excited when we're breaking someone down. I want to be excited, watching tape. And this is exciting because he is dangerous. You can see him. You don't know what's coming. Whether it's spin kick, axe kick, punches at short range, kicks at long range. He changes it up and tools from anywhere. You know what I mean? You could be this close and he'll throw kicks up. And it's very, very unpredictable, which is fun. So it means that I need to do certain things. So I've got to use that fight IQ and things like that, and really systematically break him down, which excites me. So I'm looking forward to it. So we've already got guys coming in, some strikers to try and emulate him, and obviously they're never going to be the same. But I want really good, fast, dangerous guys to throw shit at me, so I can be defensively aware the whole time, and have the right automatic reactions in those precise moments.
Make sure you're training for that last second weird up elbow. We don't want to get that Korean zombie elbow. That was some knockout, man.
It is, man. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. Like, here you are, you're thinking he's in this position. You could easily just maybe grab his back or maybe try and go to a clinch and throw a knee, and the next minute the elbow's coming from this weird angle. He can't see you. It looks like he's cowering. Bang. Very, very unpredictable. And if you watch that fight, it wasn't like I seen him. He actually did that a couple of times in that fight. So I was like, because when I first seen him, I'm like, man, that was weird. Like I just thought he was there and then just decided to throw it, or did he accidentally throw it? But it was something that he thought would work, because I seen him do it a couple of times. So it just shows you, like, there is method to the madness. There is, like, a lot of the crazy unpredictable things he's doing. He's still it's still calculated. And a calculated, an unpredictable, dangerous, calculated fighter is obviously a dangerous fighter. So you've got to respect that. And like I said, it's exciting.
Well, I also wanted to get your thoughts on Max Holloway. I know you've heard his name so often over the years, but I'm looking at him and I'm going, should he not move up to lightweight? Because he's just knocking off contenders. I mean, I'm a little bit bitter about the Arnold Allen thing, because as a Brit and all that. And I love Max as a fighter. I think he's a fantastic fighter. But I think go up in weight and fight like Gaethje or Chandler or something like that, because surely he's not getting a fourth crack at the belt. Because, I mean, as the champion, I couldn't imagine that being something that motivates and excites you to beat him for a third time. So when you look at Max, do you think it probably is better for him to move up in weight, especially if he's chasing gold? Or do you think, no, look, if he knocks off a couple more contenders, you would have that fourth fight with him?
It's just, I mean, it's a hard fight to sell, you know what I mean? 3 fights, 3 wins with a guy, and then doing a fourth one. And then imagine, like, what if he does win? What are you going to do? We're going to have to go another 2 times? Like, you know what I mean? Like, well,
best of 7.
Obviously, that wouldn't happen. I definitely believe and prove that I've got his number, but it just does. How do you sell it? So people that you're selling are, oh, your Max's look better. All right, so you're trying to sell that he is getting better and all that. He does have a chance of winning, but then people will go, all right, who cares though? Like, where does that put us?
Yeah.
Even if he wants to do that, you know what I mean? Like, how do you sell it? It's a weird one. I mean, you'll never say never, but I mean, it's, it'll be, like you said, I want fights that are going to excite me. Honestly, right now, I think I need to see more. Maybe it would be different, but yeah, that doesn't sound very exciting. It's not very fun to talk about. Obviously, Arnold Allen's, like, that would have been great if he got out there and got the job done. I actually really like Arnold Allen. I think he's a great fighter, and he's got to be one of the nicest human beings in the world. So,
100%.
But like, which I appreciate that he doesn't try and change who he is, and And I believe I've been like that through the whole process. So I've got nothing but respect for the guy, and he's really good. It's just again, Max is that good. A lot of people like when I was beating him or beat him that last one, especially everyone's like, oh yeah, he's fallen off. He's heading on the downward spiral. I'm like, no, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
Trust me, he's still that good. It's just I've got his number, and I believe that's how good I am. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I still didn't want him. I even said to him straight after the fight, I'm like, stop fighting my contenders.
Yeah.
Stop fighting my number one contenders, man. You know what I mean? I want some exciting fights. Like, stop fighting them.
Well, the other
because I
person
still
everyone
believe he was going to beat him.
Yeah, but the other person that everyone is getting excited about in your division who has a fight booked coming up is Ilia Topuria. What do you make of him? If he beats Josh Emmett, how close do you think he is from a title shot?
Oh man, I think he would have to be close. Like, what's he ranked? I don't know. If he takes out Josh Emmett, he's right up there.
Yeah,
And again,
I
that's
think he'd
another
be top
exciting
5.
fight. That'd be another exciting fight. He's getting big finishes, and a lot of people. Again, you're always gonna see, especially guys that are dangerous. It's always going to be easy sell. It's like anyone knows that. Like, oh, what if he catches him? You know what I mean? So it's good. It's always exciting, and that's going to keep me on my toes. It's exciting for me. So that's definitely a fight that I'm looking forward to. You know what I mean? I think he does need a higher fight. So that fight's booked, is it?
Yeah.
Emmett and Topuria is booked. I think
Well,
it
there you
might
go.
be
See-
June, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
June the
beautiful.
24th, I think, yeah.
Yeah, see, good. That's what I want, man. That's what I love seeing. I love seeing the contenders going at it. You know what I mean? And then good on Josh Emmett as well, being like, I'll get right back in the horse.
Yeah.
You know, because he's not getting any younger as well. Put himself right back in that title picture. Obviously, I go out and you take out Yair Rodriguez. He goes and takes out Ilia Topuria, and then takes someone else out. He's right back there because it's still in this, But back to Max, what you're saying with Max. I think you're right. Like, I think obviously he's hoping that I lose, I guess.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's a nasty man, but he's obviously got to look out for himself. He's hoping that I lose and that he gets to take out whoever was to beat me. So that's how he's looking at it. Maybe that's why he's hanging around. You're right, though. I think there is some big fights in lightweight for him. And yeah, lightweight's got some good names in there. Got some fun fights, which is why I love. I want to move up as well. That's why I want to do both. That's why obviously I'm planning on doing Yair, and then I want that rematch, and then I want to keep both divisions busy. So, which again, very exciting. But yeah, I don't know. You got to see for him, he's obviously always going to whether he thinks he's going to get a 4th fight with me, or if I lose, he gets that next shot anyway. So it's tricky situation for him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, Volk, you become a 2-weight champ, right? And then I want to look a few years down the line. We've seen so many UFC fighters moving into boxing, and recently we've even seen them moving into like the bare knuckle scene. Is anything like that interest you post UFC?
No, I wouldn't say the bare knuckle doesn't.
You got to look after those looks, mate.
Boxing?
You can't go bare knuckle. That face, you got to keep that pristine, man. No.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to add any more scars to this face. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think bare knuckle. Boxing though, I do like boxing. I think that's something like when your career's done and you're all right. Couple of because obviously there's a lot of big names in Australia as well. Good fun fights around our weight. So that could be exciting, you know what I mean? And I love boxing as well. So that's something that I guess you could do. But I mean, the thing is, I don't want to be in that position because I need the money. So right now, I'm being sensible with the money. I'm like I told you, I'm in my prime. I want to make as much money as I can so I can look after myself, so I don't have to do anything crazy when my career's over. You know what I mean? I want to look after my family, and now I'm lucky enough to be in a position that I am. So I want to make the most of it and financially be comfortable for the rest of my life because of what I'm doing now. So that's where I want to be. If I'm doing the boxing fights and I'm doing that, maybe for a bit of extra cash because always money's good, but because I want to and it's going to be fun, not because I have to.
Yeah. Absolutely. Look, Volk, have you got time for 1 or 2 more questions, or have you got to get going on school runs and all that kind of stuff? You got time?
Always got time for you. Don't worry, no worries.
Oh man, legend. So I wanted to ask you about the situation with Adesanya and Pereira, because as a fan, I look at that and go, they're 1-1. I really want to see the trilogy, but it seems to me like Izzy wasn't too interested in it, and then Dana's come in and said, no, Pereira's got to move up to 205. But then Pereira seems to be coming out and tweeting about the Adesanya fight. So do you feel like there should be a trilogy there, or do you think, nah, it's done?
It is a tricky one, like, because yeah. So Pereira is talking about it now, is he? Because I know that he wanted
He
to
put
move
out
up.
a couple of. He said he wanted to, but then now recently he's put out a few tweets being like talking about coming back, and him and Izzy went back and forth. This is maybe like a week ago or a
Oh,
few days
okay,
ago or
yeah.
something like that. But again,
All right.
Dana's come out and said he should go up to 205, or he is going up to 205. So I don't know. I don't really know what's going on there, but I as a fan
I
would
think
like
that
to see the
fight,
trilogy.
and I think it will happen. I think it's just not something that's going to happen right away. So having the
Yeah,
three fights back to back, um, obviously three fights back to back isn't always good. Like we've seen it before, but you don't really want them like that. So for them to do, if he was to go up, um, say win the light heavyweight title, and then
yeah,
they fight like for champ, like obviously the fight could be absolutely massive. Whether that's what the UFC are
yeah,
trying to plan on doing, I don't know, because that would be pretty clever. Obviously, you look at the light heavyweights, a lot of them are strikers as well. So that's and Pereira is a bit of a name, as well. So a bit of a draw.
yeah,
So if he was to go up and then win like a light heavyweight title, and then they do their trilogy, you've just made one of the biggest fights you could make.
Yeah.
So, UFC's clever like that. You know what I mean? Like they look at it, oh, we could do a trilogy now, which would be pretty big, or we could do it here, and it'd be absolutely monstrous. You know what I mean? So they are clever. They do think. See, we all look at it like this. They look at it like
yeah,
million steps ahead. They're very very clever. They know what they're doing. They've dealt with a lot of these situations before, so they've got good formulas and know how it works. But yeah, it's obviously it is a 1-1, so that's always going to be there. A lot. Izzy's probably looking at it like, oh yeah, look, he got one on me. I was winning up until then, and then he got one on me, but
mm,
then I went out there. But again, it is 1-1, so I get why some people would still want to see it. Um, but does it have to happen right now? No, I don't think so. I think like
yeah.
that was a huge fight. The rematch was a huge fight. A trilogy would still be a decent fight, but I think a trilogy further down the track would be absolutely massive. And I think that would probably be the right way to go about it.
Right, we've got a few quick sort of bullet point questions for you, if that's all right, Volk. Then we'll let you
Mm-hmm.
get on with your
Yeah.
day. Connor versus Chandler. How's that going?
But I feel Conor McGregor. I don't think,
Yeah.
because the one thing about Chandler, he understands the whole entertainment thing, and we know how he fights, and he probably could try and wrestle if he want. Maybe if he gets really hurt, he'd probably start shooting. But he's going to want to live up to that hype of that fight and being on a Conor McGregor card and want to make it an absolute firefight, which would be very exciting and fun to watch. But I feel like that will favour Conor McGregor,
Wonderful.
which is funny. Conor McGregor's coming off a few losses, and obviously, he's going out partying, drinking, and it's. So, but I still feel because Connors does have a pretty incredible chin, and his timing is still maybe not as good as it once was, but his striking, his accuracy and timing is still
Yeah.
uh, pretty good. So if someone's gonna just play that firefight with him, I feel like he does catch him. I mean, if someone plays a bit smarter and tries to wear him out, and then they've got a lot better chance of beating Conor McGregor. But if you're just going to be like this, I feel like that's a bad approach with Conor. But Chandler don't care. He's going to do it anyway.
Absolutely. Volk, as a fan, what's the all-time greatest UFC fight?
All-time greatest UFC fight. Shit. All right. Man, I can't think. For me, obviously, being this is because of my connection, right? Other than your own, that are always going to feel like the biggest. I'd probably go Izzy and Pereira. for me. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like,
really?
because Izzy, I'm so
Over
close with Izzy. I
Izzy
was
and
there.
Gastelum.
Oh, like yeah. That's a great fight.
Izzy
But I'm
Gastelum's
talking about,
probably mine. That is
yeah,
Izzy Gastelum, and
that
that
was
and
great.
to be fair, Prohaska and Glover the other year was pretty amazing as well, just
Oh,
from a fun, crazy point of view.
so when you're saying all time, do you mean craziest fight, as in funnest fight?
No,
Is
no,
that what
no,
you
just
mean?
your favorite.
My favorite fight. Okay, so like that's different. I thought like the all time. For me, it'd probably be up there just because of my emotions going into it. Like it probably
Yeah,
still Izzy's and Pereira's, because I went there and I went over there, seen the guys before they went over to Miami. So and obviously Izzy's like a brother to me as well. So him having that loss and then getting that fight back,
yeah,
all the hype, and then knowing how dangerous Pereira was, me being on the edge of my seat, my emotions and that, I've never really had it crazy like that because there was so much going into it for me. So that'll be up there. And then the way he finished it, and then the whole storyline around there, it's
yeah,
probably one of the biggest moments for me. Again,
yeah.
obviously the biggest moments are going to be myself because
Of course, yeah,
that's
yeah,
always going to be like.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that fight with Izzy and the Pereira, that second one, and then the bow and arrows and
yeah.
the way he was on the fence, you're like, no, what's going on? Boom, boom, and then just puts him lights out. Like for me, it was, yeah, like I said, it was like just a whole roller coaster. I'm very composed. Very, very hard to get me going crazy like that. I usually do when my training partners are fighting, and that I'm more emotional then. But like I was like a emotional wreck. Like, I was like, oh, what? You know what I mean? Like just going absolutely nuts. And then that happened, and I'm just like, I just revved up at that reaction video. You could see, like, that was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was raw. That was real. That was me just, just going absolutely fucking nuts.
The reaction videos you have are great actually, because you do it for like Izzy. Izzy does it for yourself and for the other fighters from City Kickboxing and stuff. The relationship between the two of you seems great, and yet there's like, not only are you so physically different, but you do seem like quite different people as well. Like you seem so kind of like chilled and laid back, and like, yeah, like when you were last on this show, you were saying like, oh, I walk down the street, someone comes up to me and I think I know them, but then you're like, oh yeah, no, I forgot I'm like a UFC champion. Yeah, yeah. Like you just like that kind of humble thing. And Izzy just seems like he thrives in that kind of like the stardom of it all. He has like the costumes and the walkouts and all that kind of stuff. You seem like very different people, but clearly you get on so well.
Yeah. That's, I mean, like sometimes it's good. You want a bit of variety in your group of friends
Yeah.
as well. Obviously, we still like to have fun. I'm still always going to be funny.
Yeah.
I probably get when we're drinking, I'll probably get more wild than him, to be honest. But I mean, because once I have a couple of drinks, we say Footy Vault comes out. So that's back in my rugby league days. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty chill. We are different in a sense, but at the same time, a lot of people, see Izzy and like, through media and things like that. And like, obviously he's still real. Like that's still him. But if you're close to him and friends with him, like he is a loyal, very friendly and chill, cool dude. You know what I mean? A lot of people, you probably can still see that, but a lot of times people only see what they see in the media and all that, and then that's all they
Yeah.
remember. They don't need. But I mean, if you get to watch some of his YouTube videos, you get to see a little bit more of himself. Again, that's still being chopped and changed, right? They're still
Yeah.
like, you've still got the guys running that page who don't want to be clickbaity, but they're going to put the fun bits in. So you're only
Sure.
seeing so you're not really seeing the actual everyday Israel, which we get to see whenever we're with him. And yeah, again, very loyal and just a legend of a bloke.
Wonderful. Right, I've got one more question for you, Volk, if that's all right.
No worries.
I want you to look into the history archives of the UFC and who's the fighter you'd love to have been able to have faced in their prime.
It's pretty easy for me. In saying Conor McGregor, because he was in featherweight. Yeah, he was a featherweight. We got to remember the champions. I've beat every other champion in the featherweight division. The only champ I haven't fought in the featherweight division is Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor in his prime in featherweight division would obviously be the all-time, I'm sure everyone would want to see that right now. If we could make that happen right now, somehow get prime Conor versus prime Volk, it'd be pretty pretty special. So again, there's a lot of again, everyone's going to talk about the money, and that's why you only want that fight. Yeah, of course, yeah, there's money in it. The circus around it, the hype, all of that. But you talk about legacy. Then I would have beaten every other featherweight champion, and I plan on having the most defenses as well. So it's going to be a pretty crazy legacy, mine anyway. But I mean, to add Connor to that featherweight list as well would have been great.
Oh, wonderful,
mate. Mate, thanks so much for coming on again. I will message the writers of the In-Betweeners and see what I can do for you. I'm not holding my breath, but I'll see what I can do for my mate Volk.
I want a cameo in there too. You know what I mean? You got to get me in there.
If it ever happens, mate, I will campaign for it. I promise you.
Well,
it'll go down in my rider.
Who's getting married? Yeah, and with the Bucks party and all that, it's going to be like that type of version. Who do you reckon it'll be? Who's getting married? Simon?
I don't know, man. Well, it's usually him, isn't it? Whenever it's involved like a girl, it's always like Simon or something, and the rest of us are just like clinging on or desperate to find someone or whatever. So, yeah. But, mate, as I say, it's always such a pleasure having you on. You are, as I say, in a lot of people's eyes, I know John Jones says it on the UFC rankings at the moment, but in a lot of people's eyes, you are still the pound-for-pound greatest fighter on the planet right now.
That.
And on top of that, I mean, not to go into it too much, but I think you're a million times the much nicer bloke, pound-for-pound nicest bloke, better than John Jones anyway. on the UFC rankings. So yeah, thanks very much for coming on, mate. We always appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, Volk.
No worries at all. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Now off to training. I'll see you later.
Cheers, man.
Bye, Volk.
Thanks, boys.